Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. As a kid growing up in the 80s in Lagos, Nigeria, heavily influenced by Western pop culture, it was seen as cool to have a short name, or at least a shortened version of your traditional 4 to 5 syllable Nigerian name. So you can imagine a Rosemary would always trump an Ogene Karo. Or a Diana would always be cooler than an Oluwasimisola. So I was blessed enough to have a shortened version of my longer name, Origo Misan, which was simply Misan. Just like the car Nissan, but with an M and one S. Yes, I put a lot of thought into that growing up. But sometimes I would face the awkward follow-up question, which would be, well, what kind of name is Misan? Or what's the full name? Or what does it mean? And I would have to awkwardly respond that my name meant, my head is good. Literally. Ori means head, mi means mine, and osan means it is good. Origo Misan. And then I would awkwardly change the subject and move on, having exposed myself. So one day I asked my grandmother why my late grandfather had chosen to name me Origo Misan. After all, my sister was named after my grandmother, my brother was named after my grandfather, and I was this awkward middle one. And she smiled in that wise way that only grannies do, and she explained to me that my grandfather had intended the name as a prayer, as a prophecy. That my head is good means that my destiny will be good. Over the years, I have grown to cherish and appreciate that meaning behind my name. That my destiny will be good has become my prayer, my belief, not just for me, but for my country, for my motherland, Africa, and for young people around the world. And I have an obligation to live up to that name. It's been really a unique experience over the past few days, meeting so many people with such big dreams that are going to change the world in remarkable ways, and some of them already working on their way to achieving those dreams. But on the other side of the world, where I come from, there are millions, literally tens of millions, of young people who share similar dreams of making their mark on the world. But what they do not share is the same access to achieve those dreams. I want to change that. Through my organization, WAVE, West Africa Vocational Education, we're working to identify self-motivated and underserved youth, training them in 21st century employability skills that employers tell us matter: communication, teamwork, negotiation skills, ethics, problem solving. And we are placing them in entry-level jobs in high-growth industries. And by the way, these are things that you all learn in school, but we aren't as fortunate because of our education system. Young people, like 23-year-old Paul Anigoro, who came to our program in August 2013 and joined our first cohort, desperate for a job. We admitted Paul based on his determination to succeed and his willingness to learn. He embraced our 3-week intensive program, learning problem-solving skills, customer service, and the most important skill, which will serve him in the future, the ability to learn. And within weeks, Paul was placed in a job, and next week we'll be celebrating his 18th month anniversary, working in one of the top international hotels in Lagos. Paul is also enrolled part-time in a local polytechnic, where he now studies graphic designs in the evenings and the weekends because of the shift nature of his job. My hope for a better world is one in which young people like Paul are equipped with the skills, with the economic opportunity, and most importantly, with the mindset to drive their own destinies. I still introduce myself as Misan today, but I smile now when asked about my name, and sometimes will volunteer it unasked, that I am Misan Rewane, and my name, which means my destiny will be good, is important to me. Because as I fulfill my own destiny, I am putting other people on the path to shaping their own. Thank you.
Come back, come back, come back. Good job. So, okay, so you asked us very beautifully to think about the meaning of a name. And you chose West Africa vocational education, not just Lagos, not even just Nigeria, which I'm sure you know would be a lot of people. Tell us how and why you believe that WAVE will go from a project that served 100 people last year to actually address youth unemployment in West Africa.
Great question. What's in a name, like you said? For me, it was important that this vision, that this dream was not just limited to Nigeria. It wasn't limited to the people in the room who are all West Africans, but was something that would be scalable, replicable across West Africa and across the world. I've had friends in South Africa say, hey, come and set up a SAVE. Or people in East Africa, come and set up an EVE, or the NAVE in the North Africa. And what we really believe is that our model of low-cost, affordable vocational training linked to jobs is enough and is applicable across the world to plug young people, re-educate them in what employers tell us matter. And that is constantly evolving. And that is why that conversation and the connection with employers is important. But connecting them to the market is something that we believe can actually change not just the face of Africa, but the face of how young people are educated and plugged into the economies globally.
So what do you think? I feel like I hear people talk about the problem of youth unemployment and the youth bulge a lot more than solutions to it. So do you think there are other solutions out there, or are you our only hope? Which, by the way, I would feel pretty good about.
There are several solutions out there. I used to run a blog where we would just talk about the problems, and I shut it down one day just out of frustration and to be honest, fear coming to conferences and forums because of that aspect of really talking about the problems, which is why I find this forum very, very special and unique because we are speaking about solutions. There are several solutions out there. Even just in the last 3 days, I've come across so many other people working with young people who are learning and adapting and replicating and sharing and spreading their curricula, sharing their methodology of how they're doing this. So I am truly blessed to be in this space with change makers and learning from them. It's a very collaborative space, and that's one thing that has impressed me as my first full-time endeavor in the social sector. I've been very overwhelmed and blessed with how sharing and how collaborative this space is.
It's a different idea of competition.
Yes, yes.
So I have one last question. So one of the things we wanted to talk about was skill gaps and training that young people need to succeed. So what do you feel like is still the biggest skill gap that you want to address for WAVE to succeed?
The biggest skill gap, I think, is young people not knowing how to think. The education system is just not teaching us how to think for ourselves. It's telling us what to think, it's telling us what to regurgitate. Young people are faced with not knowing how to solve problems in their own personal life, and therefore they graduate and they cannot solve problems for employers, which is all an employer wants you to do, to be honest. You cannot solve problems for your employer, you cannot solve problems for your nation. And so I honestly think that problem solving, which is critical thinking, is the biggest missing skill in the gap.
And what about for yourself, for leading WAVE?
I was telling someone, it really is the humility to listen to people and ask for help.
Insightful.
Strong, proud African women struggle with that.
Okay, thank you, Misan.